Hi, welcome to Tech Beyond Gender podcast. I'm your host, Meena Satishkumar. Today's guest is someone whose work has personally touched my life. I've had the privilege of attending a couple of Aticka Dhandia's courses through the Art of Living Foundation, and I've experienced firsthand transformation that comes from a unique blend of wisdom, practical guidance, and deep understanding of human potential. Atika is a transformational coach, a speaker, a personal branding expert who helps people move beyond fear, self doubt, and limiting beliefs to discover the confidence that's already within them. I'm so excited for you to experience a glimpse of her wisdom today. Please join me in welcoming Atika Dhandia to this episode. Thank you, Atika, for joining us. Thanks for your time.
Hi, namaste everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here, and thank you, Meena, for inviting me. And it's so nice to see you after a long time. I'm speaking with you here from India, and you're sitting so far away in New Zealand.
Yeah.
And well, that's what tech is all about, and you're working in that platform. So I am totally enamored as to what's going to happen in this next 1 hour.
Now, before we talk about self doubt, that's actually the main topic I want to talk to you about. I'd love our audience to get to know you. So, what
Okay.
experiences shaped the person you've become today?
I think every chapter of my life shaped me in a different way. Like I come from a very traditional jewelry family. Like we've been court jewelers from 150-year-old jewelers family. So my background is designing and manufacturing jewelry. So where beauty, craftsmanship, and attention to detail were a part of my everyday life. And then my career took me into image consultancy, image and branding of people, executive presence, communication, leadership coaching. And in the background of all this was something which I am so passionate about, which is the Art of Living Foundation, because I'm a trainer there, a facilitator there, uh, which is what I do, not as a career, but as a passion. So, on the surface, all this seems to be like a very different worlds, two, three different worlds, but they're actually all connected.
How are they connected? Tell me more. I'm interested
Uh,
to.
so, whether I'm working with an MBA student, preparing them uh, for their image and branding, or a CEO preparing them for a global board meeting, or giving like a a leadership training program for the Art of Living Foundation, I realized one thing, that the biggest transformation never starts with clothes or words, communication. It starts with your identity. And so I've also gone through phases where I questioned myself, reinvented myself, and started from scratch, and where I felt totally ill equipped. Oh my God, this is not me, and this is not what I want to do. But I was there, and it was all about identity. So, what shaped me was the Art of Living. The internal grooming was Art of Living. And when you are working with people, when you're working so much, like for me, my trainings are with corporates in my image and branding space, and in the Art of Living space. And also for the Art of Living, I have a wide spectrum. As I said, right from a IIT Delhi, IIT student, MBA student, to a corporate CEO, to maybe a session in Tihar jail. You know, all these two things could not have been possible if I did not have time to myself, where I was creating beauty. And that is where my jewelry comes in.
Hmm.
It gives me my me time. It helps me to create it. So I think they are all very well interconnected for me. So I think life doesn't happen to you, it trains you. And that's what has been my journey all about.
Yeah, so I just got a bit interested when you mentioned there was a time when you felt you were ill-equipped.
Hmm.
When was it? What was it? Did you have self-doubts yourself?
So my early days, my college days, if I were to go into that space, I remember I was not able to communicate with even five people. Like I would go to a party and I would look around the room trying to find out who is my type.
Mm.
And then the whole evening, I would be just talking to those two, three people. I did not have the confidence to be having a conversation with anybody in the room. So I was more comfortable with my type of people, my room, my books, my life. That is what ruled me. And the underlying emotion was self doubt because I was not comfortable being me.
Mm.
And it is later, much later, I found out that when I don't talk to people, when I don't open up to people, and don't give them access to know me or me to know them, I am the biggest loser because I am not able to learn from all these room full of people because I didn't talk to them. And my whole evening went in just in my safe environment with these two, three people who maybe did not contribute to me. Yeah. So I'm not saying that I needed to be with all those people, but I should have had an open space, an open mindset to be able to feel comfortable in their presence, which I was not earlier. And then Art of Living happened. And that changed everything.
Yeah. So, when was there any point in time in your life when you actually felt this is not right? I'm restricting myself. I need to move out from my shell. Was there any point in your life you felt that way?
So, when I did my teacher's training program with the Art of Living, that was one phase in my life where I felt there was a big change, a big transformation. Because after that, I was taking programs for people who were much older to me, much wiser than me. And I was able to deal with them. And every time I would take a training and I would come back and I would feel, my God, did I really do that? Again, self doubt. Who did that?
Mm.
And I was answering questions, sometimes the answers of which I've never read in my life. One thing I realized at that point of time that when I was teaching, I was really enjoying myself.
Mm.
And when I was enjoying myself, I was natural and authentic. And when I was natural and authentic, my mind was relaxed and calm. And then knowledge happens to you at that point of time. Some call it grace. I call it grace. Some people in your podcast might not be able to understand that. So for them, I would say it is just that when I felt comfortable in my own skin, I was able to deliver wherever I want, wherever I was, whether it was a boardroom, whether it was a classroom session, it just didn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah. It was
So
interesting. You mentioned something about the fact that you really enjoyed. So you were able to let go, relax, and be your own self, right? I'm just thinking about myself.
hmm,
Even now, right? Like I'm not that great going to networking events to begin with. I make an effort these days, but it was worse before.
mhm.
If, like when I go to these networking events too, at times it's like I have to like force myself. How, and I know there are people like me. I know there are many women and other gender diverse professionals like me who are like, oh my gosh, I'd rather not go. Now, how when I'm going in with that mindset, how do I relax and enjoy? It's just like contradicting, right? Like my mind is resisting, but I want to be there. And can I just talk myself into enjoying?
you know, uh, I would say, if I were to talk about myself, like once I became a trainer, things
Mhm.
changed for me really at that point of time. I remember still those times, like the trainings are very good, but as soon as I would come out of the trainings and I would go back home, uh, I was again filled with self doubt. God, did I really do that? I enjoyed it so much. And who did it? I mean, people were praising me. I felt very good. But in my heart, I was not sure about myself. There were times when I delayed training workshop because I thought they will know more than I did, you know? And there were opportunities I almost didn't accept because I questioned whether I was good enough. Yeah, like I remember my first few trainings, uh, there were about 50 people from the ICWA, the Chartered Accountants organization in Calcutta, and 48 were older, wiser men, two women.
Mm.
And those days, I mean, I looked like a kid in my jeans, in my shirt, in my, like, that's how I would dress up, or maybe a salwar kameez. I made sure that I went to that training with a sari and everything. And before I entered, I was so nervous. So, if Meena, you remember, we have this activity or exercise where we, the hum technique.
Yeah.
I would do that before entering the session,
Mm.
you know? So I remember those days. But I know one thing which I realized, which I'm giving a very practical tip to people here, that it was the first few sentences which were difficult to come out. But if those were well rehearsed, I was like, it was a piece of cake for me. I just warmed up. Yeah.
Mm.
So then now I know how to psych myself. If I have to make a conversation with somebody, or if I have to enter a room for networking or for something, it is the first or the second person I would meet where I would be discomforted because of all those belief systems which I'm carrying in my head,
Mm.
you know. But once I was past that, the flow came. So anybody who's listening to me, when you're put in that situation and you know this work is important to you, just go there, just show up without thinking about perfection in your conversation, perfection in your presence. Just start. So I would tell you the same thing, that just go and start the conversation, whether you like it, you don't like it. And then you will see, my God, today, if I had not been in this room, I would have missed out on this learning
Mm.
from this person, from that person. And that will keep you going.
Yeah, there was something very interesting where you mentioned about belief,
Hmm,
right?
hmm,
Now, there can be some really disempowering beliefs
hmm,
which might just debilitate everything, like which might completely debilitate me from taking the first step.
hmm,
It could be being in a meeting room where there's this good conversation going on, and I know that I have things to contribute, but I'm just too late and someone else gets a credit for it. Or I might just completely not contribute at all because it's just too difficult. So
hmm,
that could be because of some disempowering belief that I have within myself, thinking that I am not good enough.
hmm.
If I have that belief so strong in me, what would be the first step?
So, before I answer that, I want to tell you about my belief. Like, for example, I used to think that I had to be perfect before I deserved success.
Mm.
And I remember when I was graduating as a teacher of art of living, I went up to Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar. You know him very well. I went up to him and I told him that, Gurudev, I don't think I'm fit to be a teacher, because I can't answer people's questions. I would not know the answer. And I was thinking about my teachers who were so fantastic and they would have an answer to everything that I would ask them. So I used to think I had to be perfect also before I went to that platform. But today I know that perfection is one of the biggest forms of procrastination, a belief which I was carrying in my system. And I now understand that people don't connect with perfect people. They connect with authentic people. Doesn't matter whether your communication is flowing, not flowing, you have a flowery English or a flowery Hindi. It just doesn't matter at the end of the day. It's all about how comfortable are you in your skin when you're talking. Yeah. And how authentic you are when you're connecting with someone. Like, for example, right now, I'm really enjoying the conversation with you, you know? So
Mm.
I don't have to prepare for it. It is flowing. So that is what uh, I realized, which helped me, that I have to learn to be natural and authentic. And one thing that really helped me was my breath work. My day started with breath work. And that made me just breathe out all the stresses that I was carrying. Every stress which was making me so uncomfortable, which was making me so wanting to be something else,
Mm.
just dissolved. And then what was left was just me. Whether you like it, you don't like it, this is what I am. And I was enjoying in that room when was talking to those people. And that kind of, I could feel that, oh, they are hanging on to every word that I'm speaking because I'm enjoying it. And I was happy having that conversation with them. So, breath work really played a crucial role here. So, first, Meena, understand the belief system. It is what you want the reality to be, the gap, what reality is, and what you want the reality to be. Yes, for example, uh, I have come across people at the age of 40, 50 who thought they could never be millionaires because nobody in their family has earned that kind of money. It was a belief system that they were carrying.
Mhm.
Yeah. Uh, or the belief systems that, a simple belief system that, you know, I'm not good enough. Simple. Most
Mm.
of the people have it.
Mm.
Yes. These belief systems make a strong impression on your mind because you're chewing on them every single day. You're thinking about it every single day. Whenever you interact with somebody, you have this gnawing feeling inside you, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough.
Mm.
Yeah. The biggest myth that confident people sometimes feel is that they are not good enough. They try to show something else, which is, so confident people simply, it's not about being good enough, but it is all about making right decision. They're so afraid of making decisions that the decision might go wrong.
Mm.
Yeah, so they are projecting something else, but they are something else because, and that belief system, they have given it so much nutrition, it becomes strong impression on the mind. It becomes a part of your cellular memory.
Mhm.
And no amount of YouTube videos or listening to an inspiring speaker like me can correct that. Only your breath can help you release all that cellular memory or that so called belief system that you're carrying. It's only your breath. So, there are a lot of toxins that the breath releases. 80% of your body toxins come out through your breath. Okay. And only 20% comes out through your urine and stool and perspiration. So, what is that 80% that the breath is releasing or dissolving? Is all this emotional baggage, the stresses, the belief systems that you're carrying. How does it do that? With the help of this beautiful thing called prana. The prana and breath are two different things, I am sure you know. Yeah, for example, I ask you not to breathe for 1 minute, you'll not die. But if the prana leaves your body, you're gone. So breath goes only till your lungs, but the prana goes to each and every cell of your body. And it is the most powerful thing that the human body has. The day the prana leaves your body, your home, your family will say, leave this body outside the apartment. The body, not your name.
Mm.
That's how powerful this prana is. If you have a fracture, the doctor just bandages you and says, plasters you and says, come back after a month. Does not give any medication. What heals you? What gets the bone together is the prana. So prana has this power to take care of all your belief system, release all your belief system. But what is required? The number one step is to first acknowledge it. That I have this belief in my body, in my system, in my mind, in my heart. Most of the people fail here. Yeah. So first comes acceptance. And then the breath can help you.
Mm. Yeah, a lot of the times you can be in denial, right? That there's nothing wrong with me. Everything around me is not right.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
And how do
Absolutely.
you identify in that case, yes, there's something wrong. I need to take care of my belief system. How do you even go to that stage?
I would advise everybody, like, this is just my point of view, that everybody needs me time. You need to have your me time where you can sit in quiet and reflect. And when you are in your own space, you will feel whether you're comfortable with life or you are in discomfort. So everybody needs time to reflect, to be in silence, and to understand whether they are comfortable with life or not.
Mm,
Whether they are trying to live someone else's life or not,
mm,
or is it what they really really want. So the moment you give access and accept the discomfort, ask yourself certain challenging questions. What is it about me which is making me feel the way I'm feeling right now? That discomfort, what is it that I am not comfortable accepting about me? And the answer will come. So, most of the time in this rat race, we don't have time for ourselves, Meena. And we'll never know. That's why the mantra is to slow down, at least at one point in the day, maybe before you start your day, after you get up in the morning, let that half an hour, l- 45 minutes just be slowing down, doing your breath work, doing your body movement, and just sitting with your eyes closed for some time. The when you start doing these things as a routine, I've found such people more sensitive to themselves, and they're able to decipher what is happening in their life better.
mm. So I have this question. I have met people when you mentioned this me time, right?
Mm,
And to contemplate. Now, so obviously, me time is not just spending time with watching TV or on social media or on Netflix and stuff. It's about contemplating, right? So, a lot of us, like, I could contemplate and I might think, okay, something is probably not right. So, let me spend time in nature. Let me go for a jog, go for a run,
mm,
or go and watch a movie on my own, or
mm,
do something, right? That's my me time.
mm.
Is that as effective as a breath work to be able to change or identify my belief system or modify my belief system?
You know, the breath work is supreme. When you learn to work with your breath, okay, you are able to access your mind, your intellect, your memory, what you're made up of, what are you, the ego, and you go to your inner core. It's only the breath which can help you to do that. Rest is all BS. I'm sorry to use this word. Yes, it is the breath which connects this outer world of activity, the body, to the inner world of silence, which is your mind, your intellect, your memory, and makes you a complete asset for yourself and not a liability. And then that is what frames the body. Yes, so breath work cannot be replaced. Yeah, but when I say me time, at least set aside time for yourself. Most of the people don't even do that. They just sleep late in the night because they are doom scrolling, and they have to then the sleep. So I have seen this pattern in a lot of people. Um, I don't know whether you know about this or not. The time to actually sleep and the best sleep is between 10 p.m. to 12 midnight. It's called beauty sleep. Why? Because that is the time when the liver is rejuvenating. Yes, and throwing off all your toxins. But who sleeps at that time these days? We don't. And have you noticed that every day for most of the people by 9:30, 10, you feel a little a kind of a jerk where you feel, oh God, I'm feeling sleepy. And then you look at the watch. Oh, it's just 10. Who sleeps at this time? And then you start another set of work. Maybe you watch a movie, a Netflix movie, or you go out and start a board game with your family, and then it goes on till late in the night, or you're chatting on the phone, or you're watching the screen, and you see, God, it's 11, 12, and my sleep is not there. So you are putting off your sleep and you can't sleep before 2 a.m. And then you have to get up by 7 or 6:30 because you have office. So you've not slept and you've lost your beauty sleep already. So the body does not get time to recover, rest, and rejuvenate. So the moment you get up in the morning after you look out for your phone and your day starts, you don't have the time to really get me time out of it, at least in the morning, and your day is already started. You don't get that time to reflect, to do your breath work, nothing. You just in a hurried way look at your calendar or have your breakfast and you're out of the home, out of the house. And then you come back so tired, so fatigued in the evening, and you're so hungry. You just have your dinner, and again the doom scrolling starts, again the Netflix starts, and again the day is gone. So most of the people do not feel the importance of getting this me time out of the day
Mm.
because there is no night routine, there is no day routine, there is nothing. So I would suggest to people, first set up that. And then the me time will be the most beautiful thing first thing in the morning or when you come in the night. You will just get out of all your digital gadgets and just maybe read a book or reflect or write a journal or whatever you want to do. We used to do all these things earlier. Now we don't. Yeah. So breath is supreme. But if somebody does not know breath work, first of all, I would say learn it from an expert. Like you go to a gym and you uh, learn your gym movements through an expert trainer. You do this for your body, but what are you doing for your mind? So learn the breath work, which is for your mind, from an expert. And it'll not even take you 10, 15, 20 minutes more than that. It won't take you more than that. So please, in that me time, do some breath work, sit for some quiet, and then reflection happens. Reflection doesn't mean again engaging your mind. Reflection is when just things just, you will know what is right, what is wrong. You will know where your comfort is, what your discomfort is. That it will reflect inside you.
Interesting. So there's something that you mentioned about breath and how important breath is to transcend the mind, intellect, memory, ego, and then to the self, to the inner core, right?
Hmm.
Now, what is the difference between mind, intellect, memory? They all sound the same to me. Is it, are you referring to mind on its own?
So first understand that if you're born a human being,
Mm-hmm.
you live 7 levels. You have 7 levels of your existence. Okay, the first is your body. Now, for the body to be an asset, it has to be disease free, right? Or it'll be a liability to you, right? The second is the breath. For the breath to be an asset, it has to be quiver free. Now, what is a quiver free breath? It is long and rhythmic. If you have noticed, people who have high blood pressure or some cardiac issues, if you sit next to them, you will hear them breathing very fast. They do a lot of shallow breathing,
Mm,
quiver in the breath.
mm,
That is what a quiver is. Yeah. So they are just using their lungs, the first lobe of the lung. There are 3 lobes of the lung. One side of the lungs has 3 lobes, the other has 2 lobes. They are just breathing till the first lobe. They do not deep breathe at all. Yeah, that is what shallow breathing is. That is, they are always in the fight and flight mode,
mm-hmm,
you know? And if you learn breath work, I'll come to your mind intellect later, just focusing on
mm-hmm,
the breath right now. Um, if you learn breath work from an expert, you will realize that how easy it is to come to change or replace or go from your fight and flight to your rest and digest.
mm,
Right? So in the Homo sapien days, in the early days when we were still figuring out what modern life would be, we were like in those days where we would be fending for our food, and when we had to make the fire and all, we were in that fight and flight mode maybe 5 to 6 times in a day.
mm,
Okay, whenever we had to go out to get our food, or when we had to fight maybe an animal, so fight and flight, or if an animal were to come, to run away from their flight.
mm,
So we used to be in that fight and flight mode maybe 5 to 6 times in a day. Now in the
mm,
present day situation, we are in the fight and flight 5 to 6 times every hour. So it is very important to have a tool with us which can take us from fight and flight to rest and digest.
mm,
Otherwise, we put on weight, our decisions are not with clarity. There is a brain fog all the time. We are going through that all the time. And that is when I come to the third level of existence, which is the mind. Yes, I'll go back to the breath later, but mind. For the mind to be an asset, it has to be stress free. Yeah, otherwise it'll be in the fight and flight mode all the time. So mind is the capacity where a faculty with you which where all the thoughts are coming and going.
Mhm.
After that is the intellect. Intellect is your yes, no, right, wrong, good, bad. Yes.
Mhm.
Who decided to have this podcast? Meena. Yes. And then the thought came first, and then you executed the thought
Mhm.
because you had an intellect.
Mhm.
Yes. So the intellect has to be obsession free for it to be an asset. Because if you're obsessive about something, you'll not be able to free flow. You will be
Mhm.
always be constructed and you will be in the fight and flight mode all the time.
Mhm.
Yes. So decision making is done by the intellect. Yes. So we have the body, we have the breath, we have the mind, we have the intellect. And the fifth. So whatever the mind perceives, the experience, whatever the mind, you have an experience, the mind perceives, the thoughts come, and then whatever thoughts are there, the decision making is done by the intellect. Now, some of it you use immediately, whatever the mind has perceived. But there are some things which you park in the memory, which is the fifth level of your existence, so that you can use them later.
Mhm.
For the memory to be an asset, it has to be trauma free.
Mhm.
Yes, you can't be living with the trauma that you went through in COVID.
Mhm.
Yeah, you need to release the trauma. Otherwise, it will not help you to achieve your present day life, your present day goals. You'll be living in that trauma. Yes. So, how to make this memory trauma free? Again, the breath comes to help. It helps you to release the trauma. As I said, 80% of your body toxins come out when you breathe out. So,
Mhm.
all these traumas are released with the help of your breath.
Mhm.
Yes, from the memory. Then comes the ego. Now, for most of us, we think ego is something which is, oh, one should not have ego.
Mhm.
Hey, but sorry, ego is something which is a part of you. It gives you your identity.
Mhm.
Okay, for example, my name is a part of my ego. Imagine if I didn't have a name and people will call me, hey, come here. It hurts. Where does it hurt? That's the ego. And it's very important for us to have this podcast with each other to have our certain ego because of the ego, you are the presenter, you are the host, and I am the guest.
Mhm.
We have a certain guidelines, a separation. This separation is the ego. It gives you your identity.
Mhm.
Yeah. So for the ego to be an asset, it has to be all embracing. You have to take everybody together if you're a leader. And that's what I presume people want to be in today's day and age. You want to be the light which everybody can follow. So it has to be an all embracing ego because otherwise the ego will limit you. It will tell you, hey, I don't want to do podcast with Meena. I only want to do a podcast with Ranbir Alabadia. Ranveer, yes. Ranveer. Yeah, are you getting my point? So the
Yes.
ego kind of limits you, and that is where what gives you your belief systems, and you hold on to them. That's
Mhm.
where the self doubt becomes so strong and become a part of your entire persona
Mhm.
cause of the ego, and you hold on to it your entire life, not
Mhm.
wanting to release it. I don't want to talk to that person. I don't want to work with this group of people.
Mhm.
Again, how are you going to release it? The breaths. And what is the opposite of ego? Totally natural and authentic. What we were talking about earlier. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I am natural and authentic, everything just flows out of me because I don't care what people will think about me.
Mhm.
Nothing is coming in my way where I have to project. There are no projections. I'm okay with the way I am, and I'm not looking for your permission to be me.
Mm.
I don't want that permission. I'm happy in my skin. Then it all flows. This is how much the breath is important, because the breath releases all this and it makes you, your entire behavior, your character, an asset for you. A disease free body, a quiver free breath, a, a stress free mind, an obsession free intellect, a trauma free memory, an all embracing ego will lead you to a self which is sorrow free. And that
Okay,
is we all want to be.
cool. So, is your coaching, I know you do a lot of personal coaching as well. So, or the image, uh, what were you calling it as? Image grooming, is it?
Image and branding. It is called image and branding.
So, with image and branding,
Hmm.
what is the underlying synthesis? How do you facilitate those programs? Is that once again to do with breath?
No. So my breath work is only I do for the Art of Living Foundation. I do a lot of leadership training programs for their corporate desk.
Hmm.
And, but there are times when I am in the role of just an image and branding consultant.
Hmm.
And there, one thing that surprised me that the most successful people are not fearless. Yeah. Uh, the most beautiful thing about them is they're just faster at recovering. They
Mm.
fail, they reflect, they learn, and they move on. So, always I've found when I'm giving these trainings for image and branding, there is a need for them to do breath work. And then I turn them over to my Art of Living programs, because they understand what is stopping them. They are very sharp people.
Mm.
They know that they need to meditate now. They are at that stage of life. They know the importance of breath work and meditation. I don't have to say much when I'm working with the corporates, but when I'm working with students or housewives, I always come to a point in my trainings of my image and branding where I'm teaching them about grooming and doing sharp dressing and communicating well and dining etiquette and all kind of things. There comes a time in my training where it all turns around to the inner mindset. And then I let them decide that whether they would like to do the program with me, which is the Art of Living program, where I teach the Sudarshan Kriya. You know,
Okay, so it's about the external grooming, how you carry yourself.
yes, yes, that is all incomplete.
Mm.
Unless I groom myself internally, because that is where that is all about executive presence. Executive presence, which I teach, is not about just talking well and looking good. It's not about that.
Mm.
It's about communicating in a way as to making people believe that what you are saying is what they are wanting to give, and what you bring to the table. Now, something like this can only come with a mindset which is cool, calm, collected. It's not about dressing up, it's not about dining etiquette. So it all boils down to your mind. Like I've worked with leaders who manage companies worth hundreds of crores. Yet before a keynote, they'll quietly ask, "Do you think I'm saying anything valuable?" Am I sounding okay? So self doubt does not disappear with success.
Mm.
But I found when they do a little bit of breathing, they start, their relationship with it changes.
Going back about belief system, and then the belief can also be altered
Mm,
with the power of breath.
mm. Oh, yes, absolutely. See what the breath is doing. It is just releasing your stresses. You feel the kind of joy and happiness which will only invite positive thoughts in your mind. Positive thoughts will bring about positive feelings. Positive feelings will bring about positive actions. Positive actions, when done consistently, will make a superb habit. And it is the consistent habit or a routine will build up your character.
Mm.
So it all starts with the breath, because breath as a tool has enormous power. The prana has the enormous power. When I say breath, when I say prana, I mean the chi, the energy. And this is what we are all made up of. So that has enormous power.
Interesting. So I'm just thinking about recently I was just listening to Joe Dispenza.
Mm-hmm.
Probably know him as well.
Yes,
And
yes.
then, yeah, so he talks a whole lot about this quantum physics, about how you can just literally manifest what you would like to get. So that is having the intention, and that intention would manifest.
Mm.
How does that work? Is that part of that prana or energy or chi that you're talking about? Is that any way relevant to what you have just described about the seven levels of our existence?
Absolutely. Just having the intention and saying, I want a BMW, I want a BMW, will not get you one. Or you know, just creating a belief in your system, I have a BMW, I have a BMW, will not get you one. So every intention needs attention. So attention means you got to do something about it.
Mm.
Yeah, what do you do about it? Yes, with what kind of a mindset will you do about it? What kind of a mindset is going to uh, bring you activities or projects which will help you get the BMW? The manifestation is the third thing: intention, attention, and manifestation. So, attention is the very important part which people kind of miss. Where the focus flows, the energy grows. Yeah. So, of course, you got to have the intention, which is a fractional part. Okay, I want this. I have the intention. But what are you going to do about it? You got to give it attention. You got to give it focus. With what kind of a mindset? Is your mindset going to be, uh, irritated? Is the mindset going to be full of anger? Is the mindset going to be full of self doubt? You'll go downward spiral. Yeah. So who's going to correct it? This is what people miss out. You got to learn to work with your breath. You got to achieve a certain space in your life where you are able to manifest things. And because of the Vedic traditional knowledge that I have experienced in the art of living, I know that balancing of chakras with the help of the breath can help you manifest that life that you want.
Wow. So you're introducing a new thing, chakras. Now, how do we manifest? Like, so there is a self doubt in me,
Mm.
and I do have good intentions. I want to go out and be able to speak in that specific meeting. Just put my thoughts forward. That's my intention. And, but it's not manifesting. Now you're talking about this attention. And now with attention, you're saying, okay, then this is where the chakras come into play. What does that mean?
So let me introduce another thing to you. There are the three P's: preparation, presentation, and presence. Okay. So you first, for anything like this, before you give the meeting or you need to be prepared. You should have worked for it. And when I say worked for it, I don't mean standing in front of the mirror and practicing your speech. How well versed are you with that project? Have you worked at it from scratch? Is it your baby or are you copy pasting? If it is being given to you by somebody, then please get your hands dirty. That is what preparation is all about. And once you prepare, then comes the presentation part. Yeah, how you read the room, how well groomed you are, the outer thing. But on the day, it is just on the day of your presentation, it is just your presence which will work. Even if you just say one word, people will get it because of the presence that you're carrying. And that presence will only come if you have had the necessary preparation for it. You know, when you've put in those hours of whatever that your work requires,
Mm,
and plus some breath work, plus some meditation, plus some body work, your yoga, your gym, your whatever.
mm.
Have you been giving to your body what it really needs? Have you been eating well? It's all a part of your preparation. It is all this with your breath work, with your meditation, with your eating well, with your sleeping on time and your routines and your everything, your relationships, that builds up your presence for the day of the webinar, the day of the presentation.
So it is the practice or preparation. What are the three P's again?
The,
Preparation.
the preparation, then comes the presentation. The presentation part is how well groomed you are. When you enter the room, are you able to read the room? You know how friendly you are with people. When you talk, I mean, do people really like what you talk? Your storytelling, you know how you engage with people. That's all a part of your presentation. But your presence is all about your integrity, your confidence, your inner work, you know. That is what builds your charisma. How charismatic you become is that will show in your presence. You know, the moment you will enter the room, people, without you opening and saying a single word out of your mouth, people will want to associate with you because you are oozing that aura. That is what presence is all about. And you know, you've met such people, and I'm sure you are one of them. You know, like you know that you bring something to the room which other people want to emulate without you saying a single word, and that is presence. And that comes from a lot of practice. You know what you've been through. I know what we've all been through. You know, you. So it's that is something which is no one can take it away from you, and that is where and then, you know, it really doesn't matter what you manifest and you don't manifest. You're not even attached to that. Life is such a free flow. You just be the light wherever you are, and you kind of lead people to come into the light. And that is more sexy.
Wow, this is amazing conversation, Atika. This was just too good. Really, really enjoyed how you just took us through the journey of coming out from self-doubt and then blossoming. Are there any final thoughts to our listeners?
Uh, most of the time people ask me, how do I become confident? Yeah. I would say instead ask what evidence already exists with you which shows that you're already capable. Start collecting proof. Every compliment that you've achieved, every achievement that you've had, every problem that you've solved, because your brain believes in evidence and you'll realize that, hey, I'm already there. Yeah. So just believe in yourself. And if you look at your life, I am sure each one of you listening to me right now have you already have it. You just have to kind of uh, polish the mirror a little bit. That's it. The reflection is already there.
This is awesome. So before I finish, I have some rapid fire questions for you.
Okay.
Okay, so the first one is confidence is
Uh, keeping a promise to myself.
self doubt is
Self doubt, not a fact, just a story.
one habit everyone should start tomorrow.
Celebrate one win every night before sleeping.
One belief people should let go of.
Uh, that I need permission from other people to be who I am.
Success means
Having a smile on my face, come what may. Then I know
if I
I've
could,
arrived.
yeah. If I could tell my younger self one thing,
Don't try to emulate others. Just be yourself. You're beautiful as you are.
now imagine someone is listening right now who feels they're not good enough, not smart enough, and not ready. What would you directly say them? What will be your advice to them?
So if you're listening today and you feel you're not good enough, then I want you to know something that every expert you have admired, every leader you have respected, every entrepreneur you've looked up to has been in your place one day. Yeah. But the difference uh, wasn't that they believed in themselves every day. The difference was that they acted on the days they didn't. And they did not wait for perfection. They started. So don't wait until you feel fearless and perfect. Just take one little step at a time. And world doesn't need another perfect person. There are no perfect people. It needs gift, it needs ideas, it needs kindness, it needs your kind of leadership, which only you can bring to the table.
Great. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Atika. It was so lovely to have you with us. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was great being here. And uh, my parting shot, I would just say that, one thing which I remember is that whenever I would have this thing in my heart where, am I enough? And after becoming an Art of Living trainer, I would ask, how many lives might change if I had stopped hiding? Yeah, if I continue to hide myself, I would not be able to change lives. So it doesn't matter whether you're enough, you're not enough, you are changing lives. Just go there. People are waiting for you. Thank you.
Thank you.